Hi, and welcome back. Today we're going to celebrate Earth Day by talking about how to make an effective poster. So I'll be walking you through creating a design maybe similar to this. You can try other ideas out if you'd like. But what we're going to be talking about is some concepts and things you can do to make sure that your poster catches people's attention, because that's what posters do, right? You're supposed to be able to see them from far away, communicate a quick, simple idea. And some things that you can do to make a good poster is use bold lines. So maybe thick lines. Bright colors are very effective. Complementary colors, because they're opposites and have high contrast, also tend to catch people's attention as well. So red and green together are a good combination. Orange and blue can be useful. Yellow and purple also can tend to catch people's eyes. And then simple images like a heart shape, or I'm going to be using the shape of my hand in a simple image of the earth. And then combining those images with words as well to tie the image and the message together. So some examples of that in my design is I've used bold lines for the words so that people can see them from the sidewalk of the window of my apartment. I've used some simple shapes, like I traced the shape of my hand and I drew a simple version of the earth to kind of communicate how it's our responsibility to take care of the health of the planet. And then I even tied the image of my hand to the word hands by using hands in my phrase. And then I even used a little heart where Seattle is, because Seattle's where I live and the place that I love. So some things you'll want to use today is you'll want some blank paper, and you might want two sheets if you're going to use markers that bleed, if you notice that mine has gone through. So maybe some computer paper or a flattened envelope or a grocery bag. And then you're going to want a pencil to help sketch your first shapes and ideas out. And then a ruler is always helpful for designing and laying out your letters, along with a variety of any sort of markers and color pencils that you want to use. And remember, when you're thinking about colors, think about colors that are bright and think about complementary colors. So hit pause and take a moment and try to find any colors that might help satisfy these categories to help make your poster stand out so people can see it. Now, once you have everything and you're ready, the first step is kind of thinking of your idea. So I thought of the phrase first, and then I liked the idea of using my hand. Now, my hand's pretty big. If your hand's smaller, you could even trace it multiple times, but I tried to center my hand in my paper, and then I just lightly trace the outline. Stopping at the bottom where my thumb ends, and then just carefully connecting the ends of these lines to create the shape of my hand. And then the next thing I did is I knew I wanted the shape of the earth in the middle of the hand to sort of suggest the idea of holding it or taking care of it. So I found something in my recycling, my disinfecting wipe lid, and I chose it because it fits really nicely in the palm of my hand that I traced. Now, your hands are probably a different size than mine. So why don't you take a minute, hit pause, and look through your house. See if you can find a circle that you can trace that fits in the middle of your hand tracings. Now, once you've found that circle, try to put it in the center of your hand and lightly trace it as well. Remember, we always want to draw lightly until we get it rightly. Okay, that's a phrase I like to use in my classroom so that if you make a mistake, it's easy to erase. So I'm starting to lay out the simple shapes, right? And now I want to think about how my words are going to go. I counted the words in my phrase, right? The earth is in our hands, which is six words. So I mapped it out and I tried to think about how I want them on my page. You could have them curve. You could have them maybe in the fingers. It's up to you how you design it, but I'm going to keep mine simple. So all I did is I used the width of my ruler, which is a trick I tend to use regularly. And I just drew a light line there, and then a light line right below it. And so this gives me a line to guide where I want to write my letters nice and carefully. And then on the bottom, I drew another line just up from the bottom of my paper for the last part, the Earth Day 2020. Now the next step is writing the words, thinking about where they go. So you want to space things out. So I'm thinking about how big the word Earth. The Earth is in our hands. And you can even make little marks to maybe help guide where you want to put those letters. And it doesn't have to be perfect, right? Like my handwriting isn't the best. My skill set doesn't really involve lettering, but I can space them out and then find a dark, bold marker, maybe a black. I'm going to be using black, red, and green, just like I did in my poster. Now, what we know about red and green is that they're complementary colors. So I'm using these for the words that I want people to notice the most. So I'll use my black marker first and just write out the word the, nice and big and bold. And then I'm going to change to the color green for the word Earth, because I want this word to stand out. I want people to notice that this is the main focus of my message. And then I'll switch back to black for the word is. And notice I'm not worried about my letters being perfect. And then I'll keep using black for in. But then I want to use the word, the color red for the word hour. I want those to be, Earth and hour, to be the words that people really notice the most. And I've used complementary colors to make them stand out from each other and then stand out from the rest of the image. And I've chosen a phrase that uses the word hands because my hand is such a major part of my image. Now I want to think about the image and the colors I want to use. If you notice in my picture, I've drawn details of the Earth, and what I did is I didn't stress myself out by trying to think for my imagination. I actually looked online and found an image of the Earth that I looked at and drew as well. You can do that, or you can draw from your imagination. It is up to you. Remember, it does not have to be perfect. But notice that what I've done is I've outlined my shapes with bold lines as well, and I've used bright colors to color them. So what you want to do is get a dark marker, maybe a Sharpie or a black marker, and you can go around the outline of the hand. Very carefully. And I like to stop and start behind the letters to create a sense of depth too. We know that when we stop and start, it makes things look like they're overlapping, which creates depth and a little bit more complexity to our images too, which people enjoy looking at. So I have my hand outlined, and now I want to think about the Earth. I want to sketch in the continents that I see, and I like to focus on the part that is part of the planet that I live in. So I'm thinking about the United States, and particularly the Pacific Northwest. But now I'm drawing South America. This is a great geography lesson too. If you look up a picture of the planet, see the shapes of the different continents and practice drawing them as well. And then even try to identify the parts of the planet that you're drawing. Up to Canada. And a little bit of Northern Europe. a little bit of Western Africa. And then I want to put my little heart shape where I live. And think about where you live in the United States, and you can add a heart there too. And once you're satisfied with the shapes that you drew, you want to go over these lines with a dark, bold marker as well. So now that I have all my simple images drawn and outlined, I want to write the rest of my message, which is Earth Day, celebrating Earth Day of this year. So Earth Day 2020. And once you have your whole image outlined, now you can choose your colors. And so I intentionally chose the colors green and blue for my planet because I wanted it to represent the Earth in a realistic way. But that is not a standard. You can use as many colors or different colors as you'd like. And I used a little red for the heart. And then I intentionally chose orange, not because it's just a bright color, because bright colors are really helpful in a successful poster design, but also because orange and blue are complementary colors as well. So this contrast is incredibly eye-catching for people that are walking by my apartment on the sidewalk, and I can catch their attention. So you can turn off the video and spend the rest of your time coloring your poster how you would like it to be. I hope you enjoyed this lesson, and until next time, keep drawing. Bye.